Hey everyone, how's it going? I just finished Stranger Things 4 the other night, and man, I absolutely loved it. I think it's the best season of the show yet, and I had a lot of fun getting to watch it. And actually, I just realized, I think with what I'm wearing here, I think I look a little bit like Vecna slash Henry slash One. Maybe if I have my hair back, maybe that makes it a bit more. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments below, but I think there's a little bit of resemblance there. Maybe it's not a good thing based on how evil he is, but you know, I think it's there a little bit. You guys let me know though. But anyways, what I want to talk about today is one of the many amazing things that we got to see in this season, and that would be a lot of the character relationships. I think there's a lot of great characters in this show, and specifically today, I want to talk about Nancy and her relationships with Jonathan Byers and Steve Harrington. And obviously, she's had romantic involvement with both of them. At the end of season 4, she's still with Jonathan, but she's had ongoing issues with him throughout the season just because of their distance and their kind of lack of communication and openness with each other. And then you have Steve, who was with Nancy early in the show, but obviously they've since broken up. But Steve clearly still has feelings for her, and he actually confesses this to her at the end of the season. So you have these two people who are both really good guys and important to her in big parts of her life. But the big question moving forward into season 5 is, well, who should she choose to be with, right? Should she stay with Jonathan like she is right now, or should she move back to being with Steve?
To answer that question, let's start by talking about who Jonathan and Steve are as individuals. And in my opinion, I think they're both really good people. The way I judge good people is not by flaws or mistakes, but rather by how people respond to mistakes and how people account for their flaws and always continuously work to make themselves better people, right? The best versions of themselves. And I think Jonathan and Steve do this really well. Obviously, they're both flawed, but all humans are flawed. So Steve was unfortunately, with a bad crowd early in the show in season 1. He was with a lot of bullies, and he unfortunately took part in bullying Jonathan, and that was not good, and that was obviously something that was not right. But he was able to realize that, and he was able to figure out that he was with the wrong crowd, and he was able to separate himself and remove those people from his life, and he was able to apologize to Jonathan and make himself better. And ever since then, he's been a much better person. He's become more mature and just a much better human being and a better version of himself. So I really respect Steve for that. And Jonathan, too. I mean, he made mistakes in the first season as well. He was part of, because Jonathan and Steve obviously had a lot of issues with each other early in this show. And Steve was a part of that with his bullying. But Jonathan also was himself, with the weird photos he took of Steve and Nancy and their whole group at like their night pool party and stuff. And he made mistakes himself, but he's also moved past that and made amends with Steve. And both Jonathan and Steve have been able to move forward from their problems, both as more mature, better people. So I respect both of these guys, Jonathan and Steve, for over the course of the show, maturing and evolving into better versions of themselves. So at the end of the day, I think these are both fantastic guys. They're both really good, kind human beings. So now, obviously though, whenever you're talking about who you want to be in a relationship with, it's not just whether you're a good person. Obviously, I mean, that's just like a baseline, right? You want, your partner to be a good person, but also they have to be the right fit for you. I mean, there's plenty of people who are going to be good people in your life that aren't going to be, a romantic interest. So for Nancy, obviously, there's more to consider than just whether they're good people. And also, they're both good people. So, you got to find something else to decide on. So the real question comes down to who's the better fit? Who just fits in with Nancy's personality better? Because both of these guys are important to her, and they're both huge friends of hers, both people she cares about and people who care about her. But the question is who really just fits with her personality the best, someone who would be around, each and every single day for the rest of their lives, right? And at the end of the day, after seeing Stranger Things 4, I think Steve Harrington is the better fit. And the reason why, I think, really just comes down to transparency and openness. And that's something I think Steve has with Nancy and something Jonathan just doesn't. Jonathan, I think, it's not something he's intentionally doing or he's not trying to do anything bad, but at the end of the day, I think his life is kind of going in a different direction than Nancy's. So he's kind of, there's this whole mix-up over college, right? Their dream, Jonathan and Nancy, is to go to the same college one day so they can, be together and have that college experience and kind of start their life together, right? But at the end of the day, Jonathan, has more. He feels like a duty to be with his family, to be with his mom, Joyce, and to be with his younger brother Will. And he kind of has separate plans. He feels like he needs to stay there. And honestly, I agree with him. I think in a lot of ways he does really need to be there, and Will really needs him as a role model. And if Jonathan's happy there and they're happy with him, then really that's probably where he should be with his family. And that's what his gut is clearly telling him. And I agree with that. But the problem is he's not really being transparent with Nancy. So he keeps telling her that his acceptance letter, oh, it's in the mail, it's coming. But, it's really not. His plan is to just stay with his family and go to like a community college out in California. So he's not telling Nancy that he's changed his plan. And when he plans to do that, I have no clue. But the fact that he's kind of lying and covering up really isn't a good sign. And both of them are really, in a lot of ways, part of the problem with just not communicating and being open with each other. And then on the other hand, you have Steve, who actually is being very open. And, obviously he once did date Nancy, but he can really tell, he can tell that Nancy still has feelings for him, but he really has always had this feeling for her. And he confesses this at the end of the fourth season. And he's open, and he just plainly tells her, his dream. Earlier in the season, he had told her, like, his kind of dream one day about having a family and kids and everything like that. And then later he adds that that dream is something he wants to share with her. And, I respect him for being open like that, being willing to tell her, even though it's obviously something very difficult and awkward to say. He came out and was completely open and transparent with her. And also, they've just been getting along really well and, happy with each other, as friends. And clearly, that feeling is still there between the two of them. And I think they're very natural together, and I think that would make a lot of sense. And at the end of the day, like I said, both Jonathan and Steve are both great guys. They both care about Nancy. Nancy cares about both of them. But I just see this problem between Nancy and Jonathan that doesn't exist between Nancy and Steve. And like I said, transparency is important. I mean, in any kind of relationship, not just a romantic relationship, in any kind of relationship, one of the most important things is being able to be open, being able to be trusting, and, have a sense of loyalty. Like, this is someone you can go to, during your darkest moments of your life, and always feel confident and reassured that this person can help you and be there to support you no matter what. And I'm not saying Jonathan isn't willing to, like, support Nancy or anything like that, but just the lack of transparency and communication between them is just a negative sign, just kind of the sign that they're not a very good mix to be, in that kind of significant relationship. I think they would make great friends and they should still be friends, but I just don't see that working out like I see Nancy and Steve working out. So at the end of the day, my opinion is that Nancy should go with Steve if she's picking between the two of them. Because, of course, there's always the option that she could decide that neither of them is appropriate. She might decide maybe she doesn't really want to date at this point in her life. Or she could decide that there's somebody else, or who knows. But if the choice is between these two guys, again, I think they're both great human beings, great people, that should both still be an important part of her life. I think at the end of the day, Steve Harrington is the better choice for a romantic partner than Jonathan Byers for Nancy Wheeler. So that's my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Y'all let me know down in the comments below what you think. If you agree with me or not, please let me know. I love to hear your thoughts. Love to discuss things down in the comments. And I can't wait for Stranger Things 5. I hope you guys are just as excited about it as I am. It's a great show, and I'm really impressed with Season 4. So looking forward to more of the show, and hopefully Season 5 we'll explore this further, and we'll see what Nancy decides. Does she stay with Jonathan, or does she move back to Steve? We'll see. Only time will tell. And, of course, like I said too, she might decide to choose neither of them. But even if she does that, I'm still convinced that both of them will be very important in her life. Because at the end of the day, all three of these people, they're all really good people who are all good, strong friends. So no matter what, I'm confident that they're all going to maintain strong relationships with each other, all three of them, regardless of whether they're romantic or not. So, anyways, y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching.